Hello. In this tutorial, I would like to show you how to create a parametric map that we're going to use on a dice. So this is the image that I would like to create, but everything will happen inside 3ds Max without any third-party applications. So I'm going to start off by creating a rectangle in the perspective viewport. This will be the size of the final map. So let's make this 100 by 100 centimeters. I'm going to also center it out. Okay, so now I need to create 6 squares inside it. So each square will be a face of the dice. So let's make a copy. Okay, so Control V. Let's make this a copy, and let's make this 30 by 30. All right, then let's switch to the top viewport and start positioning them. Let's make 2 more copies in this direction, and let's copy all of them in this direction. Okay, so now each one of these squares will be a side of the dice, while this big square will be the entire image. Okay, so let's start off by creating the first one. That's number 1. Let's make a circle. Use snap. Okay, now the next one, let's center it here. Okay, so it should be 2 copies. I'm going to select both and align both to the middle of each side. Okay, so now we need a copy here and a copy here. Okay, now 4. Let's make sure that both of them are aligned to this. And let's make another copy. And now let's make sure all of them are aligned to this side. Okay, now for 6, let's copy 4. And I'm going to make, okay, the distance is too big, so let's bring this a little bit closer. What I'm doing, I'm locking the objects, then go to snap and do shift and drag from here to here, so it's exactly the same distance. Okay, now let's select all of them and center them here. Okay, so this was pretty much it so far. So now what I need to do, I need to make sure that each of these circles are just one object. So let's go ahead and select everything and convert to an editable spline. Now here, I need to attach this one. Okay, then the next one, attach this and this. Okay, and the last one. Okay, so this was pretty much it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a map for each one of those circles. Let's do that. First, let me configure the viewports so it looks in a more useful way. Let's do it like this. This should be top. Okay. And now let's open up the material editor. And let's just put it in here. Okay, good. So now let's create maps for each one of these faces. So let's do map, general, and shape map. I'm going to double click on it to view the image and double click on the name to select it. And now let's say shape object should be this one, and we're going to use the square as a map boundary. So let's pick it. Okay, so now we have a map that contains exactly this. It would be nice to have would be some controls over this, how this works. So what I would like to have a controller that controls the fill color and the background color, so I may be able to change it in the future, you know, to have just one controller for all 6 of these. So let's right click, add a controller, float controller, and let's use not point tree controller, so Bezier color. Okay, now we should be able to plug this here somehow. Let's right click here and show all additional parameters. Now let's open this up and let's connect this with the let's say fill color. Also let's rename this to fill color. Okay, so now this controls the fill color. Let's shift and drag to create a copy, and we also need a BG color. Let's rename this to that. BG color. Okay, so now we have these controls, which is nice. Let me just close this and minimize this. So this was the first one. Let's do the second one. Let's just do a shift and drag. You see that all the controllers are now still connected to this one. And for this one, I'm going to use the second circle. As you can see now, it doesn't really appear because it still has rectangle 02 as you know, boundary. And of course, it's not inside that boundary. So let's pick this one. So now we have that, and let's just minimize this, and let's do the same thing for the rest. Okay, so here we have this one, and the boundary is this one. Another one for 4, and its boundary for 5, and its boundary. Okay, and now let's do the same for 6. Alright, so now we have all of them here. What I would like to do, I would like to combine them in a single map, something like this. In order to do that, I would like to use a composite map, and this means that each one of these images should occupy a unique space. For instance, this one should occupy 1/3 from the top and 1/3 from the left. The second one would take the middle, you know, from this direction, and 1/3 from this direction. In order to be able to do that, I would like to control the rollout coordinates. So if I want this to take only 1/3, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say tiling on U should be 3 and on V should be 3. And now as you can see, the image is also being repeated all around. So to fix that, I'm just going to uncheck tile here on both U and V. So now this only takes exactly 1/3 of the image, but what I would like to do is to push it, you know, in negative direction on U exactly 1/3. So this means minus 0.3333. Okay, and the same thing I would like to do on this direction. So that should also be, I think it's 0.333. Okay, now also these values for offset will differ for each one of these, but what will still have, all of them still have in common is the tiling. I would like to have this controlled, you know, by a controller, so if I want to change the size of all of them at a later time, it's easy to do that. Okay, so let's do that. I'm just going to maximize this. Let's add in a controller, float controller, and let's use the Bezier float. Now, in order to see the properties, I'm just going to open additional parameters and the coordinates rollout. So I want this Bezier float to be connected to the U tiling, this one, and V tiling. So let's just drag this here. Okay, now let's close this. Next one. So U tiling and V tiling. The next one. U tiling and V tiling. And the last one. So U tiling and V tiling. Alright, so that was it. Now let's select this and make the scale for all of them to be 3. So as you can see, all of them are 3. Now some of them still have this option to tile on both U and V. Okay, and now let's control the offsets. So this should be in the middle top. So this means that U will stay unchanged, while this would be minus 0.333. I think I had the wrong one selected, this one. So here it's 0.333. Good. The next one, so this would still be 0.333. Well, this would be positive 0.333. The next one, this would remain horizontally on the same level, but will just move to the left. So this means minus 0.333. This will remain exactly here, while this will go to the left. 0.333 and 0 here. Okay, so now we have all of them, laid out correctly. Now what we need to do, what I would like to do, I would like to combine them in a single map. So for that, I'm going to do a map general composite. So inside this composite, let's add the first one to layer 1. So now I see the result here. And inside composite, we have the option to add new layers. So let's add the second layer, the second image to the second layer. And now what's happening here, it only displays the second map. That's because, this would take the entire screen. So in order to fix that, I'm going to reuse the same map as a mask. So let's drag. Okay, so let's continue. We should just continue, connecting all this. So this layer 4 and also into mask. Let's add a new layer, layer 5, mask, and also let's add layer 6. Okay, so now we have this result here, and what I would like to do now is I want to control it. Let's say I want each part to be a little bit smaller, just a little bit. So I'm just going to change the value to 3.3. So this will happen. Now you see clearly each one of them how much space it takes. So let's do it like this. Okay, now let's change the color. It's a little bit hard to change it from here, but what I can do, I can select any of them, and if I change the color from here, it will change the color of all of them. So let's choose a different color, maybe something a little bit yellowish. Okay, maybe even a bit darker, something like that. And let's also change the background color to something a little bit more gray. Okay, so no, this is it. From here on, I can create a diffuse map out of it. I can create a bump map out of it. I can create a spec, mattleness, roughness, whatever I really need from here by just controlling these values. So at the end, when I'm finished, what I can do, I can right-click on this composite map and choose Render Map. From here, I can choose the resolution. Let's say 2048 by 2048, and render. And this will render out the final image, which I can use, on the 3D model. Let's save this and call it dice, and make it a JPEG. So, this is the result. I think it's pretty neat. Everything is still controllable. Of course, if you're inside 3ds Max, you can use this directly, but I would really not recommend that because this is really heavy for the, for 3ds Max to handle. I mean, it takes each change that you make, it will completely, block your computer. Right, so that's it. Thank you for watching.